Hello and good evening. Once again, we are here from the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, the TRRC. I'm here on QTV to talk to you about peace and reconciliation, which is part of the TRRC's overall mandate and agenda. Yesterday marked the beginning of the live hearings of the TRRC, which goes towards fulfilling one of the key mandates, which is to establish an impartial historical record of the human rights violations that occurred in the Gambia from July 1994 to January 2017. So here we are today again. My colleagues, my name is Imran Dabo, and I'm the outreach coordinator for the TRRC. With me here today is Ansumana Sise. He is a reconciliation officer with the reconciliation unit of the TRRC, and next to him there is Mr. Esa Jallo. He is the communications specialist and head of communications at the TRRC. I'll begin with Ansumana. Yesterday marked the beginning of the hearings for the TRRC. How did you see the hearings yesterday?
Well, thank you very much, Imran, and good evening, viewers. Yesterday was the first hearing of the TRRC, and it was a very interesting hearing, as we saw with the first victim. The hearing was very interesting, and it was well attended by, government officials, foreign dignitaries, and as well as the Gambian people. And that shows that the Gambian people have been waiting for TRRC for a very long time, because if you see that, Gambian people came to witness the first hearing of the TRRC in their large numbers, it shows that they were ready and willing to take ownership of the TRRC process, that is the Truth and Reconciliation process, and that's why they came in their large numbers to witness the first hearing, and it went well, and we received a lot of feedbacks from the people, especially on the social media accounts. People were saying, how organized the first hearing was and how organized the whole process went. And we are glad. We are happy that people recognize that and they acknowledge it, and we are grateful.
Thank you very much. So you mentioned this feedback from social media, which has been largely positive. We are happy to say. Also, though, however, there has been comments, issues about the communication aspect of things. So following the announcement that we will be using one media production company to record the live hearings and then be able to supply. So, Mr. Jallo, head of communications, how does this work? Because some of the sentiment is that using one host is basically trying to suppress the rest of the media, or trying to sideline the rest of the media. So we would want maybe a clearer understanding of what the arrangement is, that the TRRC has to have one company record and produce the live hearings.
Thank you very much. The hearings, as stated earlier, began, and those who went there can see the space. There's an issue of space, and also there's an issue of managing data. Looking at the space, you can't allow every media company to come and place their gadget to start recording. That is a space issue. The other issue about data management is because this is not an ordinary commission. There are going to be hearings that may not be appropriate for the public to hear it or to see it. So for that being the case, the TRRC came up with an idea to have one production company that is going to record all data, electronic data, that is audio and video, which will later be distributed to every media house for broadcast, for print, and for any other purpose, excuse me. So that is it. So this is actually an international standard. If you go into any internationally organized programs, normally it's only one company that does the whole production, and all the other media houses take signal from them. So we sent out proposals, and after that, after the proposals were looked into, one company was selected, and that is the norm. So that company is solely responsible to record all the hearings, and then while the other media organizations are there, they will be given the data after the hearings, pending on what the legal team is going to say about it. If they think that there are certain issues that we need not to send to the public, then that is going to be removed from the video. So that is the whole idea of having that process. And the second thing is, when the data is recorded, that means the data is TRRC material. TRRC owns the copyright. So, and that is important for the historical record as well. So anybody can access that data, you know, afterwards. After the commission goes, people can access that data and can get the details of what had happened for, you know, for accurate recording. So this is all important in terms of communication and in terms of managing information, because you know how our social media is, and you know how citizen journalists we have. So if we allow everybody to come in and record, we will be seeing certain things finding their way into social media, and that could create unintended consequences where people can be victimized, people can be fingers can be pointed at people for certain things. And you know, because we need to be careful of, one testimony does not draw a conclusion. One person saying one thing doesn't mean that is exactly what had happened. We'll have to wait for the final outcome of this thing to come. So this is why there is, we need to take care in the way we distribute this information, to disseminate the information. And that is what we are trying to do, is to help, because it is not a question of censoring, because the TRRC needs its proceedings to be seen, to be heard by the people. So it's a question of managing it, because half of our job is going to be done by the journalists or the media houses. So it's managing and agreeing with them what we think should go out and what we think shouldn't go out. So it's not a question of denying them information.
But in this management of information, would it be fair for then some of the companies or some of the media houses to think that you are favoring one company over the other? How did you get to choose the who records this these hearings, and how do you ensure that you are fairly treating all of the media equally, rather than giving one media house an advantage over the other?
Yes, this, like I said earlier, a proposal was, a letter was sent out for 5 media companies to send in proposals. Those proposals came in and we looked at them with the contract committee. So my presence there was to look at it technically. So I looked at all the proposals, and then as a committee we came to 2 based on various reasons. So those 2, we need to look at all the advantages and the disadvantages, and then the issue of price came in. Then we chose 1, and then we further went in and negotiated more to come to get, because the insinuation in the public is that there's a lot of money at the TRRC, which isn't the case. So in fact, we were actually asking for one of them to cover it for free. So, but you know, when we decided that, we had a negotiation with that company, and then we agreed at a fee. And that's how we did it. So what we did is we looked at the technical ability, we looked at the personnel, and in case of emergency, who is among them will be able to respond quickly. You know, because these are gadgets. You can take them there and they can fail. So you have to have somebody who has the muscle to be able to replace, you know, gadgets that have problems. You know, so if you depend on companies that wouldn't be able to respond to those kind of situations, you'll find yourself in trouble, because the hearings are not going to wait for you. That doesn't mean the hearings, if the gadgets fail, that doesn't mean the hearing is going to stop. Then that means we are going to lose some data, and that is that we shouldn't be able to, we shouldn't accept. So the idea is to have all of that, and then anyone who wants it will be given.
Okay. So we come back to you, Mr. Ansumana. Of course, like he said, the hearings are going on, and we have these arrangements for communications and for the media. But these hearings are not the only activity of the TRRC. As I mentioned the other week, the mandate is really broad. And how do you see the other work of the TRRC? Because there is also sometimes sentiment that the TRRC is wasting resources on activities like trying to promote reconciliation, when the funds should be channeled into the hearings and as the main activity of the TRRC, instead of wasting resources on reconciliation and all of these things. So I don't know what do you think of that?
Yeah, the TRRC is made of two parts. That is, one is the commission, that's the commissioners, and the other is the secretariat. So the commissioners' main focus is on the hearings and on those things. But the secretariat, we deal with whole lot of things. We deal with the Never Again campaign. We deal with the women. We deal with the youths, and we also deal with reconciliation and other matters. So if we are to put all the resources on the commission or the commissioners for the hearings and other stuff, what the mandate of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission will not be fulfilled in the end, because some of these things will not be achieved. So that's why it's important to also set aside some of the resources to reconciliation, to Youths and Children Network, that is to involve the youths into the reconciliation process, as well as the general TRRC process, and also other areas of the TRRC. So to say that only the commission or the hearing needs to be given the priority or need to be given the resources, I think that's an understatement, because we need all these areas to work as one part so that the full mandate of the TRRC will be achieved in the end.
Indeed, and this mandate is a broad mandate, as it would be understood. The TRRC is not only here to seek the truth, but there is a purpose to its work of truth seeking, which is in the first place to recommend or to decide on reparations for the victims of the human rights violations, but also to promote reconciliation, because we are in a country where there have been perpetrators of human rights violations, and we have victims of human rights violations, and no matter how the process goes and whatever the results or the consequences of it, we still have to live in the same Gambia. And we do believe that in order for us to live together and to progress as a nation and move forward, we would need to reconcile and to come to terms with what had happened and move on ahead towards the future. And also to ensure that there is a non-occurrence of these violations that had happened. So in terms of communication, Mr. Jallo, communications is a critical part of this process, because we've mentioned this during our last program here, that the work of the commission is not something that can be achieved only by the commission. For starters, our mandate is only for 2 years, and it is impossible for the TRRC to achieve all of its mandate or its objectives within that 2-year period. So it is something that we need people to pick up and the entire country to take ownership of, for us to be able to achieve what we all want to achieve for the Gambia. How does communication factor in this? How important is communications, and what are the activities or the steps that you are taking to ensure that the process is engaging all segments of the society?
Yeah, as you said, the TRRC, there is a host of things going on at the same time. The hearings are going on, and the Secretariat is also doing its work. And there's a saying that understanding a problem is part of the solution.
Indeed.
So having had the hearings, we will be able to establish the truth. Then we will be able to understand why it had happened, and then we will be able to avoid it so that it doesn't happen again, and that's the Never Again campaign. So now, but all of these things has to be communicated to the people. So this is why we not tell media houses or journalists what to cover, because that is their prerogative. But this is a host of things that are happening within the TRRC, and it is important for all the activities to know that this is an all-inclusive thing where women and youth are also involved, and children. Because when one person is affected, there's a host of people who are also indirectly or directly affected. When a man is affected, there's a wife behind, there's a kid behind. So these are all things that are happening. This is where all these units are operating at the TRRC. So it is necessary for all the activities that are happening within the TRRC to come to light, so people can understand exactly what is going on. For example, reparations, there's a lot of misconception of what are they going to be the reparations. Some of the things that the people who have suffered human rights abuses cannot wait for the end of the report to come. So part of that is happening, where people need urgent medical attention. These are things that are happening. So, but people need to understand that it is not only the star show where they'll come and listen to somebody who's going to make some startling revelations, but there are other things that are happening. So we'll endeavor to work with the media so they get all of this information, including what the mandate of the TRRC is, what they are supposed to be doing. Because we've also read in one article where that they said one indicated that the TRRC will prosecute. That is not the job of the TRRC. The TRRC can only come up with a report and make recommendations, but it cannot prosecute anybody. So these are things that we will be working on and communicating to the media and using the outreach programs that the other units are doing, so people can understand more what the TRRC is going to be.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much. And you did mention here that sometimes there are situations where there are primary victims and there are secondary victims. And we will talk about that more after the break, when we have the Women's Affairs Coordinator and Reconciliation team and the Youth Network team also to come and talk to us about victimhood, and especially the gender aspect of human rights violations that are occurred, and the youth perspective of it as well. But Mr. Ansumana, considering the importance of communication, and considering that there have been a lot of violations that have occurred, obviously, before you can begin to reconcile, you have to understand the problem that has that raises issues that need to be addressed, that for reconciliation to come on. So how do you, or how are you working on trying to establish this to understand how to approach this reconciliation?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very important question. One of the things that the reconciliation unit is doing regarding that is we are engaging the victims, because we said the TRRC is victim centered, and that's the same thing that the reconciliation unit is doing. We are trying to consult with the victims to know what are their expectations, what they are thinking about the reconciliation process. So we have engaged them, and luckily for us, they are open to us. They have told us what they need and what they expect from the reconciliation unit. And one of the things they said was that they want the truth to come out first. So that's why it's very important for the hearings to come out first. So because the victims said they need the truth, and they need full detail of the whole truth. They don't want anything to be hidden. They want to know what happened to them, what happened to their loved ones, what happened to the disappeared, and the form of torture they went through. So that's very important. And they said when the truth come out, then and only then they will be ready to see how best they can come and reconcile with themselves first, because they are saying they need to reconcile with themselves first. That's what we call individual reconciliation. They need to reconcile with themselves, because they said they have been carrying this thing for far too long, and it's really bothering them, and they need to put it down now. That is to reconcile with themselves, to know that this thing have happened to them. It has happened to them, and the only thing now they can do is to reconcile with themselves, to know that it is something that had happened and how they can move forward from it. So that is one thing they need. And also after that, they are saying now they will look at the possibility of reconciling with the general public, that is reconcile with anyone involved in their violations.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you. And talking about victim-centered approach, we cannot have this process function without having victims come forward and engage the process.
Yes.
And I know there would be victims who are a bit reticent to come forward and share their stories. So how is the TRRC approaching this? How is it encouraging, or what will you say to victims who have suffered violations but don't trust the process because maybe they're afraid of privacy issues, or they're afraid of stigma, maybe, for example? How is the TRRC trying to engage these victims and get them to take part in the process?
Yeah, there is, at the hearings, there will be victims who would want to apply for anonymity to testify in that. And this is why the management of information is important. I have to say that, because one, if somebody comes in and testifies, and in the end the repercussion becomes negative, then that will deter other people from coming forward.
Indeed.
And that is going to also affect the outcome of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Indeed.
So you see, this is why, because it is victim-centered, the victims will be the driving force for this. You know, they would be, they will decide if they want to do this thing in public or not. And that then from there, then we will see how do we manage that information and how the information goes out. And this is why we appeal to people who are disseminating information, the journalists or the media, to take great care, because most of these things we are hearing, we've had them over and over and over, but then these are not authentic information. Now we are trying to get the authentic information, and then one information, one testimony does not mean that is the end all thing for that incident to happen. So this is why it is important to not to jeopardize further investigations too, to see how we manage certain informations when they come in. And this is why we are trying to do as much as possible so that we can, satisfy the public in knowing what is happening, and also to protect witnesses, so they don't have to regret coming before the commission, and that will also compromise the whole purpose of the commission.
So from what I understand, then what you're saying, there are procedures in place to protect the identity of victims, and information management is part of that process of trying to protect the victims. That's an interesting look at it. Mr. Ansumana, again, just talking about the reconciliation aspect of it. The country is wide, Gambia is wide, and I think most of the activity on social media and kind of focuses on the urban areas, and because we know how the dynamics of the country are different, urban and rural. What are the approaches, what considerations do you make in terms of getting to engage those in the rural areas as well, and not just the urban areas, in terms of trying to engage them in the process and promote reconciliation?
Imran, one of our programs in this 2019 is to go on a community outreach, and we are in the process of identifying 24 communities. Some of them, of course, are in the urban, but most of them are in the rural areas, and we intend to have or to be in most of these rural communities, to engage them on the TRRC process, and very importantly, to engage them on the reconciliation aspect of the TRRC. So in this 2019, inshallah, we'll be mostly going to the rural areas, because it's very important to also engage the rural people, because sometimes when you go to these rural people, you'll be amazed by what they say about some of the current things that are happening and some of the ideas that they even have. So it is very important to engage these rural people, and by 2019, inshallah, we will engage on that community consultation to gauge their expectations and also their reaction to the TRRC and also to the reconciliation aspect of it.
So is these engagements going to be one-off engagements, or is it going to be something that is going to be maybe a continuous thing? Which areas of the country maybe you will be reaching?
It will not be a one-off, because we are planning to spread it for the whole of 2019 at various points. But also maybe very soon, one of the pilot areas that we are going is the LRR and West Coast region, and Biam to be specific in the West Coast region, and Soma to be specific about LRR, and those are the two pilot areas we are trying to do first. But after that, it will be spread across 2019 to engage all these communities and in the rural areas as well as some parts in the urban areas.
That's brilliant. Mr. Jallo, I also know that your unit also is dealing with a lot of outreach, trying to engage people and trying to get the information out there and keep the work of the commission open to everybody to be part of the process, but also to be up to date and know what is going on. So can you share with us maybe the activities that you have coming maybe?
As they say, communication is a two-way string.
Indeed.
So what the other units are doing is also part of communication, because they are going there listening to the people and having feedback. So we will use those occasions as well, which we will be compiling and then bringing in onto mainstream television and radio. We will also be engaging the public in different ways in terms of having radio talk shows and engaging the people through social media. So it will depend on what is happening around the commission at a given time. Then we will respond to that and see what the outcome of those engagements would be. So we assess and then we continue the cycle on.
Indeed, indeed. And talking about the mandate again of the commission, I'll come back to the mandate. It seems from what we are talking about that all of the mandates of the TRRC are interlinked. The truth-seeking cannot be just separate from the reconciliation mandate or reparations or never again. So how do you understand this? How do you approach the whole balancing act of maybe trying to get people to engage both in the truth seeking process and also reconciliation?
Yeah, I think one of the strategies we have about that is we are trying to engage people, because Imran, if you engage people, you include them in your process, they'll be willing to take part in any of the process of the commission, whether it's the truth seeking, whether it's the reparation, whether it's the reconciliation, and the never again. If you include them in one of those processes, they will be willing to come forward for any of the process. So we want to engage the people so that they can feel ownership of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, and when they do that, they will partake in all the process and all the mandates of the TRRC. So engagement, that is to include them, is a paramount priority for the TRRC.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you very much. We are just about to go out on a break, but just to summarize, we have here Mr. Ansumana Sise, who is part of the reconciliation unit of the TRRC, and we have Mr. Esa Jallo, who is the head of the communication department of the TRRC, and the communication specialist support the communication activities of the TRRC. We've been talking about the issue of reconciliation and how important it is in relation to the whole or the wider mandate of the TRRC. But we also touched on the beginning of the hearings that started yesterday and are ongoing for this this week. And we've also talked about the process of sharing information or making the information available regarding the hearings, and Mr. Esa has clarified on that and how the process came about. I will just leave Mr. Esa, if you can just give a few statements to conclude.
Yeah, in terms of distributing media, there can be some problems because technology is not always reliable. We're trying to upload most of our audios on the website so people can easily download there, and also upload some of the video onto YouTube for other people who can also download. Nonetheless, other people who have their gadgets or hard drive, we can also distribute. This will be slow because of the kind of information that we're gathering. If you have up to 70 gigabytes, at one time to transfer, that will take some time. So, but this is going to continue, and as we go on, we'll try to improve the situation. This is what I want to tell our audience. And the other thing is, we have asked people not to use gadgets in the hearing, and we've seen that happening in the first hearing. We would want people to help us not to switch on their gadgets, because we don't want unintended information to be going out.
Indeed, thank you very much. And Sumana, just a few words maybe to close on.
Yeah, my last words, I think I will appeal to the Gambian people to take ownership of the TRRC process, to take ownership of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, because this is about Gambia. This is for the Gambians. This is for us to heal as a nation, and for us to heal as a nation, and also to recover from the 22 years of misrule in the Gambia. So I'm just appealing to the Gambians to just take ownership of the issue and take it as their own, and we are going to include them from our first process to the end.
Thank you very much. We would go out on a break, and when we come back, we will have the women's unit of the TRRC and the reconciliation team as well, and youth team, to talk more specifically about the gender focus of the peace building and reconciliation within the TRRC mandate, and how the TRRC is approaching this. Thank you very much to our viewers. We will be back in a short while. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening again. We are back. We are from the TRRC. My name is Imran Dabo. I'm outreach coordinator for the TRRC. With me on the panel here is Madam Yadikun Eribo, Njai Eribo, sorry. And then we have Ms. Mariama Cham, and Ms. Tuti Nyang. Ms. Tuti Nyang is from the Reconciliation Unit of the TRRC. Mariama Cham is from the Youth and Children's Network Unit, and Madam Eribo here is the coordinator for the Women's Affairs Unit of the TRRC. Before the break, we were talking about the beginning of the hearings and also reconciliation and peace building as part of the wider mandate of the TRRC. So, Madam Eribo, what is the role of the Women's Unit of the TRRC in terms of fulfilling its mandate?
Thanks, Imran. Thank you for having us. Before I get to the role of the women, the gender, I just talk about. I'm speaking from the TRRC Act, and on 13 objectives of the Commission, it says create an impartial historical record of violations and abuse of human rights from July 1994 to 2017, promote healing and reconciliation, which we are going to be talking about. Also respond to the needs of victims, and we know we were talking earlier, each victim, if it's not a woman, if the victim is not a woman, we also know that each victim comes with each victim comes a mother or a wife or a sister. So that is one of the issues for the women's, that's why the Women's Affairs gender issues is cross-cutting, because in everything, in reconciliation for victims or reconciliation everywhere, there is a woman that's involved. So we have to talk, we have to know how the women feels and take into effect the women's feelings and how they are feeling about what's happening. And also the Never Again campaign. You know, we know that women in the Gambia, the population of the women is 51%, if I believe, or 52%. So we know that we hold a majority here. And because of that, we are involved in all aspects of life in the Gambia. So everything we do, we have to remember women. And we are not talking about just women. We don't want to throw women as an afterthought. We want women to be in the forefront. Always remember that women's thoughts, women's ideas are part of everything. And also we have to take it into effect. Let's not just have them as an afterthought, or we dump women somewhere else. So that is why we feel that women have to be brought in the forefront.
Indeed. Ms. Tuti, talking about the cross-cutting nature of women within the society and the impact of violations, human rights violations in this case, towards women, because as she mentioned just now, even where the victims are male, there is always a female or a woman somewhere in the picture, be it a mother or a sister or a wife or a daughter. There is always a woman involved, and things affect women in these situations in a different way from maybe the primary victim, but it's still sometimes they suffer the brunt of actually the after effects of the violations that occur. As part of the reconciliation unit of the TRRC, what kind of activities or what have you been doing, or what are you doing in trying to ensure that this cross-cutting nature of women's in the reconciliation process is considered and is being taken into account?
Thank you so much, Imran, and good evening to our viewers. With regards to making sure that women's issues are at the forefront, we echo what Ms. Yadikon said about women being part of the TRRC's mainstreaming. we understand that they should be at the core of all our processes, especially reconciliation. As you said, when it comes to them being victims, they may not be direct victims at all times, but they are also they also bear the brunt of what may have happened to their husbands or to their sons. So in terms of making sure that women's issues are always factored in and they are part of our peace building and reconciliation efforts, we have had to establish women's listening circles. That way we get them to tell their story, but not only tell their story, also articulate how they think peace building should be advanced. They've got ideas. They understand the conflicts that have happened in their communities and even in their family settings, because they're not direct victims, they may be indirect victims. We have different degrees of vulnerabilities, and we have seen that from research it has shown that their vulnerabilities may be higher than that of a man. Not that we're undervaluing any vulnerability. So to make sure that we capture their vulnerability, to make sure that we have catered for their needs in the peace building process, we've had to do women listening circles. We're also doing community dialogues that will be focused mainly on women. We'll ensure that we engage at least 90% or at least all. It may be a bit ambitious, but most of the women groups, especially in the rural Gambia, to make sure that they come out with their thoughts, their ideas, that that their social and cultural values are captured in the way they want to advance reconciliation. And the women groups who have had for years been in the communities, like the community-based organizations, most of them are women. We're also trying to get them to come in, have dialogues with them, have an interface with them, let them come out with their ideas, and we'll also strengthen their capacity in peace building and social cohesion. One of the other things we're also doing to make sure that women again are not left behind, we know about the traditional communicators. Most of them are women. In fact, we have started engaging most of them. We've engaged a group of traditional communicators in Talinding and Sukuta, and told them what the TRRC is about, especially on reconciliation, how they can promote unity and peace building and social cohesion. So we're going to target women groups. We're also going to continue with the women listening circles. The community consultations we'll be doing, we'll make sure that we work with at least most of the women groups in the communities too.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Ms. Mariama Cham, Assistant Youth and Children's Coordinator, right? We are just talking about women and how we factor them into the whole truth and reconciliation process. But youth and young people are also another group that are very often overlooked or underrepresented when it comes to these issues or issues of national interest. Sometimes they are usually also abused, sometimes used to perpetrate violations or perpetrate crimes or offenses. So what do you think about the role of young people in this TRRC and why it's important?
Yes, thank you so much, Imran. As you said, young people, or let's say children, I mean, they are very important in our society, because most of the time we talked about children are the cream of this nation. So if we always often say that children are the cream of the nation, then we also need to make sure that we say it into action, and then we do it so that they get to know that they are part and parcel of the society. But sometimes too, it's not the same picture that we said. As you said, sometimes we've been sidelined, I mean, with regards to decision making, and sometimes most of these abuses and then violence have been done upon us as children. And another belief that we have is that, I mean, children are only to be seen but not to be heard. So at the TRRC process, most especially the unit that I come from, we said we are going to break that circle, saying that children don't have a say, or perhaps children are only supposed to be seen but not to be heard. Because I believe that when you're trying to talk about dissemination of information or trying to reach out to people, with regards to gender-based violence or with regards to various torture and violence that are happening, it needs to start from children, because they need to get the information at a very tender age, so that when they are growing with that, they are already equipped and then well knowledge about it, so that when certain things happen or occur with regards to gender-based violence or rape, they already got the information, and then at the end of the day, they might not be easily influenced with regards to those torture. But if children are not well off with information, which is their fundamental right too, because when you looked at there is a specific portion for children and youth. That is why the UNCRC is set up for children. That is the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child. Then you also have the ACRCC, that is the African Charter for the Welfare and Right of the Child. These are all binding documents that were ratified, and Gambia was among the country that ratified this convention. So in as much as we ratify this convention, talking about children and youth, then we also need to act to those particular articles that has stipulated that there are certain sections that are meant for children and that are meant for youth. Sometimes we talk about human rights, and of course human rights are everybody's right that we are entitled to. So over the years or over the past few months at our unit, we deem it necessary that I can say the Children and Youth Network unit. It's the last unit that was set up within the TRRC process, because we believe that women cannot go without children, because when you set up the Women Affair unit, of course you need to also set up the Children unit as well, because us as children or youth will get to be in the same position where Auntie Yadi is and then Tuti. So we also get to be okay with that. So part of the activities that we have been doing regards to the Never Again campaign, because the Never Again campaign, it entails a lot that each and every department in the TRRC will able to complement that effort rather. That is why the Youth and Children Network come up with the Never Again campaign, starting from the school outreaches. So in the past months, we have reached over various schools in this Greater Banjul area, and then to the upper River Region area that is around the province's end. And to tell you that currently we are only left with only two regions within the regions that we have in our country. So we started from the Greater Banjul area downwards to the provinces, because we are not only going to focus within the region where we are based or located, because those at the provinces too need to have the information. It is also their fundamental right to know what we meant by the Never Again and then the TRRC process as well. So we've been going around schools, starting from the junior and senior secondary school. But then our main first target was the junior secondary school, where we've been talking to them about what the TRRC stand for, and then what are some of the mandate, and then how the TRRC operate. Then from there, we talk to them about their rights and responsibility, because in as much as we claim that us children, we have our right, then there are also responsibilities that are attached to that. That each and every child that is waking, up going to school every day, you need to know that you're enrolled to go to school, but it is your also fundamental responsibility as a child to able to abide by rules and regulations that are attached in your schools, and then able to make your parents proud. Because we cannot just go and tell them that you have a right, but then their responsibilities to come in. So we deem it necessary that this has to come from the grassroots level. We don't want them to go up to, let's say, senior or at the later part, and then they know this information.
Yes, that's true. jërëjëf mbokk yi ñu ngi doon wax ci anglais rek, ma delluwaat ci madame Erebo fii ñu baamtuwaat liñ doon wax ci olof xëy na pour mbokk yi déglu ci làkki olof. ñu ngi doon waxtaanee last week ñëwoon nañ fii, ñu ngi doon waxtaanee peace and reconciliation, maanaam mooy liggéey TRRC biñ nekk di def nii. Muy taxawal dëgg bi gestu li fi amoon si ñaar fukki at ak ñaar yu passé, seet lana xewoon kana ko def, ñana ko def ak kan lañ ko def, aaxi doomi aadama yi jëloon yëpp ni nangu woon yëpp ñu jéem a gestu nuñ ko seetee be xam naka la demee ak lana waraloon lu demee noonu. su ko defee tamit liggéey TRRC bi bokk na ci mooy yëfi fexe pour jokkalante réew mi yëpp ñu mun a nekkaat benn merewante bi ñu tegee ko boor mun a seet nu ñoo yóbbu réew mi kanam moom lañ fi toog ni di waxtaanee tey tamit programme bi ñu ko support mooy African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies su ko defee ñu ngi waxtaan tey the same thing waat peace building mooy jokkalante geeg taxawal saxal jaama si réew mi waaye ñu ngi ko waxtaanee si boori taxawaayu jigéen yi si mbiri taxawal jaama ak saxal jaama si réew mi daal ak si liggéey TRRC bi taxawaay biñ fa taxawee madame Aribo moom moo nekk unit bi amee waali jigéen yi anything lu jëm si taxawaay jigéen yi si TRRC bi moom mooy coordinateur bi maa ngi ko doon laaj jos bu yaagut nii luy taxawaay TRRC lu tax ñu soxla groupe boo xam ne wala unit boo xam ne liggéeyam dafa taxaw si mbiri jigéen yi si liggéey TRRC bii nii.
waaw jërëjëf Imran jigéen ñi si Gambia bi biñ gëstoo gis nañ ne daal doomi aadama yëpp yu nekk si Gambia bi jigéen ñee ëppa te bugguñ ñoo def dara te boole wuñ si jigéen ñi du am dara lu ñoo def si Gambia bi te jigéen waru see bokka parce que buñ seetee li tax ñu am TRRC bi métti biñ amoon si dëkk bi si ñaar fukki at ak ñaar yi passé nii si gannaaw ñun ñëpp a si am métti du pour ne rek xëy na du góor yi rek ñoo si am métti góor yi am nañ métti jigéen ñi am nañ métti tam waaye itam dangaa gis ne góor bu am métti moom am na yaay am na jabar am na raka bu jigéen am mag bu jigéen ak am na ay doom yu jigéen nga xam ne am na ay jigéen daal ñi ko wóor ñoom itam dañ am métit nga xam ne léegi nag duñ mun a nekk def dara te boole wuñ si jigéen ñi léegi niñ bugg a boole jigéen ñi ñu ngi am unit bi ñoo Women's Affairs unit nga xam ne dañoo liggéey ak jigéen ñi dañoo seet li jigéen ñi soxla buggu ñoo toog ñu def décision bi yëpp parce que am na yeneen dëkk yi defoon seen TRRC yi nga gis ne biñ ko doon def dañ xawoon a faate jigéen ñi gannaaw nga gis ne boo ko defee bon liggéey bi du aaga daal waaw parce que dangaa faate soo faate jigéen ñi faate nga genn wàlla dëkk bi lu ëpp genn wàlla dëkk bi sax soo mënuloo faate jigéen ñi léegi nag niñ ko defee am na ay jigéen yu am métit yu ñoo gis yu ñëw ñuy wax ak ñoom ñu seet naka lu leen am métteeg yooyu yëpp waaye itam ñu ngi dem si dëkk yi ñu ngi fekki jigéen ñi si dëkk yi du te nekkuñ di dem Banjul ak Kombo rek de dañoo suñ bala ñoo pare daal dinañ dem Banjul ba Koyna ndax ñu wax ak jigéen ñi dañoo fekki jigéen ñi seen kër yi seen dëkk yi ñu wax ak ñoom ñu gis ndax bugguñ lii xewati Gambia du musatee am ba te naka la ñoo defee loolu mooy ñu make sure ne ku nekk xam nga loo war a def pour tereel yi amati xëj na xamuñ woon o xamuñ li doon xew waaye léegi ñu ne never again campagne mooy naka la ñoo waxee never again du fi amati daal luñ mun di def daal du fi amati te ñun jigéen ñi xam nañ ne ñun jigéen ñi suñ taxawee luñ paree def dina am so dañoo dem si jigéen ñi ñu dimbale leen ñun jigéen ñi ñu ni neen ñu jàppalante ñu taxaw ñu protect suñ doom yu góor yi ñu protect suñ jëkkër yi ñu protect suñ caameñ yi daal so loolu lañ nekk di def nii
dëgg la jërëjëf waay Miss Tuuti ma ñëw si yow rek tamit ñu ngi doon waxtaan yow sa unit mooy ñoo amee wàllu waxtaan ak indi déggoo si réew mi daal o indi waa déggoo si réew mi parce que xam nañ ne ñaar fukki at ñaar yi passé am na yu bari yu fi xew yoo xam ne xëj na isi na ay xeejamte si diggante ay mbokk ak wala ay dëkkandoor daal yéen façon liggéey ngeen nekk xam naa ne da ngeen dee liggéey ak Women's Affairs unit bi soo leen ñu mënee jos xëj na wax rek si yan liggéey ngeen nekk ak yan tànka ngeen di dox si wàllum isi jigéen yi si liggéey TRRC bi ak mbiri jokkalante geeg taxawal jaama gi daal.
jërëjëf Imran comme noo leen ko waxee rek jigéen ñi comme lu antiyaar yi dem wax rek jigéen ñi xam ne den bokk si TRRC bi nii te ñun comme que ñun ñoo amee wàllum jokkalante bi taxawal jaame bi li nga xam ne comme que ñëpp a ngi wax ne du fi xewati ñu ne lu fi xewoon ñaar fukki at ak ñaar si gannaaw bëggul mu xewaat jigéen ñi nag cër bu rëy la si gaay am parce que su ñoom comme ni ko anti yaari waxee ñoom ñooy yaay ñooy jabari ñooy maami ñooy tante yi buñ taxawee ne di du xewati ñoom mun nañoo liggéeyee ñoom si faana yu bari pour lifin pour taxawal ne dëgga lu fi xewoon du xewaat te loolu noonu foog ñu comme jigéen ñi rek nu leen xam ne olof Njaay dee wax dangaa jël pour sa di ñaw pour ñu ñaw nag pour ñu mun a jël nag pour sa bi di ñaw foog ñu dugalan waxtaane ñoom dégg la du mun a xam yëpp li nga xam ne liggéey bi noonu la war a tëddee waaye ñun tam pare neen pour dem duga si mboolem fu munti nekk dinañ dem si luumo yi dinañ dem si marché yi pour waxtaane ñoom dinañ leen ootam léegi ñu ñëw ñu def ndaje jaakaarloo waxtaane ñoom seen xalaat ak seen xel ñu indi ko ñoom xam neen naka la ku nekk parce que dañ dee wax ne aada cosaan am na nu mu dee taxawalee jaama am na nu mu dee saxalee jaam si gox-gox yi ak si dëkk yi si biir famille yi sax lu cosaan ak aada am na si part pour taxawal di jaama def li nga xam ne jaama dina am déggoo dina am parce que loolu la Gambia soxla comme que ñu ne dina xewaat foog ñu dampa xol yi foog ñu defaraat xel yi suñ xalaat itam ñu defaraat ko bi nga xam ne dineen mun a isi déggoo parce que déggoo mooy indi dem kanam fekk déggoo wun du mun a dem kanam te pour ñu déggoo foog ñu waxtaan ñu ni neen suñ biir foog ñuy waxtaanante li nga xam ne dem neen ba xam ne dëgga lii dee yaaxu woon na ñu toog waxtaan seet naka lañ koo defaree te pour loolu noonu mun a xew foog jigéen ñi nekk si ñoom ñoo jiital et puis ñoom ñooy nekk si biir ñoom ñoo wax ñoom ñooy amee seen pour sax dimbale ñu ñuy ñaw di defar dëkk bi ba yàlla def ñun ñëpp ñu nekk benn la nga xam ne moo fi xewoon at yële passé du xewaat ñuy amalante yërmande di def déggoo parce que comme ni ma ko waxee foog déggoo woon du mën a dem kanam loolu la foog ñu déggoo foog ñu juboo faate yi nga dégg la nag du mun a faate loo ñu ne xol du benn koo bës duñ mun a faate yëpp waaye ñu ne lii de xewoon na fi te suñ bugaatee jëlaat yoon bii nii yooni fitna bii nii munoon nañoo delloo si gannaaw fu nekkoon léegi nag saa yu xaw a am njorta ne ñu ngi bugg a delluwaat ba daanuwaat si yooni fitna boobu noonu ñu ne neen ñu dajaloo waat waxtaanante ñi nga xam ne jigéen yi nga xam ne ñun si marché yi maa jigéen yi nga xam ne fu ñu munti nekk si Gambia ak si lu munti yëngu ñu di leen dem utti leen waxtaane ñoom ñi nga xam ne daneen war a dimbale pour dëgg bi ñoom ñu gën ko parce que ñun dañoo dem léegi foog ñu mun a liggéey a ñoom nga xam ne seen groupe yeeg seen compagnie yeeg yooyu noonu nen leen mun a lifin du leen woon sax parce que ñoom xam neen ba pare waaye neen mun a liggéeyee ñoom wecci wante ñoom xalaat ba nga xam ne ñun suñ demee ñoom liggéey jaamoo bi saxal dëgga beeg bu kenn bàyyi yoon saa yu gisee ni ñu ngee daanu si yooni fitna mbaa yooni tooñ ñu oyante defalaat diggante bi daal parce que Gambia soxla na pour ñu am jaama
jërëjëf si kàddu yu rafet yooyu Mariama moom si Youth and Children's Network bi la nekk mooy maanaam groupe bu amee wàllum ndaw yi ak xale yi si TRRC bi moom mooy assistant coordinator bi si unit boobu noonu Mariama ñu ngi doon waxtaan léegi nii maa ngi ko doon wax si angale ne léegi-léeg su mbiri réew taxawal réew wala doxal réew ñëwee léegi-léeg ñu faral di faate jigéen yi gannaaw wala duñ leen jox gëdda guñ si war a am daal waaye tamit loolu tam dëgg la léegi-léeg si xale yi parce que léegi-léeg tam xale yi ñu xeeb leen wala ndaw yi ñu xeeb leen si liggéey bi xëj na ba faate leen gannaaw wala bàyyi leen gannaaw daal so TRRC bi nii gis naa ne am nañ women's unit pour fexe ba nga xam ne loolu du am foofu waaye tam am nañ unit mooy yow sa unit bi boobu noonu tam pour fexe ba xam ne xale yi duñ leen bàyyi gannaaw daal so naka nga gisee seen liggéey bi ak lu tax mu am solo pour xale yi ñu boole leen si liggéeyi TRRC bii nii su dee mun nga ñoo
waaw Imran jërëjëf comme li nga wax am na solo torop parce que soo ko seetee sax man bala maa dem si béréb bi nga xam ne foofu laay liggéeyee mooy suma unit bi foofu noonu ñun lu ñooy liggéey ak ñun si luñ taxaw mooy wàllum ndaw ñi ak xale yi waaye dangaa gis ne sax am TRRC ñoom biñ taxawee dem ba taxaw dañ gis ne mag yi rek suñ fa nekkee xëy na liggéey bi dina dem waaye nu mu war a demee du ko demee waaye il faut am ndaw yi tamit am nañ si wàll am nañ si cër soo demee tey TRRC foog naa ne ndaw yi sax ñoo fa ëppa mun naa wax loolu parce que suma morom yaa ngi fa ak ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ñoo ma xaw a mag so loolu dafa wane ne su yëfi liggéey yi amee wala su yëfi joxayante place yi amee nekku ne comme mag yi rek ñoo fa war a nekk waaye xale yi ndaw yi tamit am nañ si wàll am nañ si cër parce que comme noo ko waxee amaana yow xale bi ngaa jël di ko tuutiloo wala di jéem a am si moom ñaaw njort ne kii xëj na moom munut lii wala munut lii xëj na kooku soo ko andee sax moom mun naa def li nga xam ne yow sa boppa daf laa éem te soo ko seetee si wàllu xale yi comme nuñ ko waxee woon si kàllaama nasaraan ne léegi dañ jàppee ne xale yi yeneen yi daal waruñ koo déglu wala waruñ koo xam dañ dee jàppee ne xale daal xale la su tolloo si ay at lam war a xam waaye comme soo demee ba nekk si ay yeneen am at lu si demee ni ay juróomi at wala ay juróom benn de waruloo xam yeneen xibaar yi wala waruñ laa yóbbu luy àngale di wax waruñ laa feeñal si yeneen palaas yi waaye dangaa gis ne loolu xëy na nit ñi ku nekk da nga am sa xalaat waaye tey xale bi nga xam ne teel nga koo feeñal mandarga yi nii wala xam-xam yi loolu dina ko dimbale ba nga xam ne su magee loolu daf koo jàppale parce que léegi dañ fi dee gis mag yoo xam ne wala nga dem ba nañ wax université bi wala senior school nga gis koo xam ne du mun a ñëw taxaw sax si kanami moromam mi fesal li nga xam ne moom loolu la amee si biir xolam bi wala sax mu jéem a wane li nga xam ne moom la munee waaye soo ko teelalee jàngal si bu muy ndaw loolu dina ko dimbale torop te antiyaar yi dafa wàllu am solo ne yëfi jigéen soo ko seetloo jigéen yi dañ believe ne waaw ñu ne jigéen yi ñoom ñooy maanaam ñoom tamit dañ leen deew ne ñoom ñooy di cream of the nation maanaam ñoom ñooy soxale réew kanam waaye am léegi dañ dee wax loolu rek waaye su ñëwee si yëfi joxe place wala yëfi jàppale jigéen yi dañ dee bëgg a jigéen yi des gannaaw xëy na góor yi nekk si kanam te ñun nag TRRC ak new transitional justice bi dañ bëgg a génnee that dimension parce que suñ ne women empowerment dañ bëgg a gis that empowerment in the forefront ne gannaaw bu ñu waxee ne dañoo jàppale jigéen dañoo soxale li nga xam ne mooy jëmal jigéen yi kanam comme nañ jox jigéen yi place bëgguñ jigéen nekk ay vice président wala secrétaire nu góor mun a amee place yi président jigéen tamit mun na koo amee place so loolu moo tax nag bëgguñ jigéen yi tamit nañ bàyyi suñ xel léegi su ñëwee si yëfi jàppale jigéen yi ñu ni leen ñun jigéen dañ dee bëgg a jéem a des suñ morom yi gannaaw parce que dangaa dégg tey bu Mariama naroon a taxaw président moom lu mooy dem di taxawal président wala moom kenn la fi taxaw benaan moom mu ngi lii soo kon ñu ni neen tamit dañ war di jàppalante suñ biir te buñ ne TRRC bi ñetti framework yi nii daf la ne truth reconciliation and reparation gannaaw bi nga xamee ne dëgg bi taxawal nañ ko te ñu koo wax te moo tax depuis démb ñu ngi commencé suñ hearing si ne luñ bëgg mooy ne dëgg bi génn parce que su dëgg bi feeñi si la yow mi nga xam ne yaay liggéey mooy tuuti ñoom seen département bi buñ gannaaw bu dëgg bi buñ ko waxee ba pare kon nag dinañ mun a xool naka la ñoo jéem a toogee waxtaanee li nga xam ne mooy ñaawteef yu fi amoon si at yële si gannaaw buñ ko waxtaanee ba pare su boobaa ñoom tamit dinañ xool naka la ñoo seegee affaire si waxtaanee ko ba xool naka la ñoo dampalee gaay waaye tamit di wax am mbokk yi ñoo seetaan rek ak bépp am doomi Gambia ne am TRRC bi dafa jóg waaye nekku ne dafa jóg pour andi am àdduna xaalis boo xam ne am doomi aadama yi yëpp dañ see séntu dara wala dañ see séntu xaalis bu bari loolu tamit nekk na misunderstanding bi nga xam ne am suñ mbokk yi dañ ko am parce que tey jii koo romba sax yaa ngi liggéey TRRC yow léegi boss nga te fekk affaire si du loolu am commission bi dafa set up waaye dañ soxla ay dimbal te dañ soxla tamit nit ñi nga xam ne dañ ñoo xelal so pour nit ñi bàyyi ko xel ne suñ ne dampal tamit nekku ne tey su dee antiyaar yi dañ nangu woon kiram wala mu am ay yàqu-yàqu yu bari comme digguñ la ne commission bi dina la delloowaat sa bagage yooyu yëpp waaye ñun lu ñu tax a jóg mooy pour ñëw toog xool naka la ñoo jéem a seggee sa problème bi ak métti di nga xam ne moom nga amoon ci gannaaw ñu jéem laa jàngal naka la ñoo baalalee parce que il faut ñu baalalante li nga xam ne moo nekk suñu xol bi ñu koo jooy il faut ñu jéem koo génnee ñu waxtaanee ko xëy na doo gaaw a fàtte waaye buñ ko waxtaanee bañ xool naka la ñoo seggee mbir mi rek kon su boobaa jàmm bi nga xam ne moom la ñu ut dinañ ko am te liggéey bi tamit dina dem si kanam.
Thank you very much. Jërëjëf. Madam Erivo, I'm just going to come back to you again. We are talking here about women's affairs within the reconciliation aspect of this TRRC's work. And obviously, we are just talking about some of the challenges of women being forgotten about or left behind, when we get into these processes. And I know for a fact that sometimes the violations that women undergo or suffer within these human rights violations tend to be of a certain special category of their own, and sometimes it is violations that are very difficult to come out and talk about to, for example, a commission that is set up to investigate the truth. So how are you able to, or how can you then convince women to come in and share their stories of their experiences, because we need the stories to ensure that we know what happened and to ensure that those things never happen again, by putting in place things that will ensure that things are more secure. But how do you then encourage women to do that, and what measures do you take to ensure that they don't suffer stigmatism or criticism from the general public?
Imran, what you are saying is so true. First of all, the Gambia, we are such a small community. We are so close-knit. And number one, these women, the things they suffered, sexual violation, gender-based violence, at different levels. And these are things that are, number one, they are hard to talk about. They are hard to bring out in the public, especially. Number two, some of these people that have violated the women are still walking around. They are seeing them out there, and how do they come out and talk about it? So, and then also number three, it goes on and on. Number three, you talk about if I was sexually violated, I come out, and everybody will see the woman and say she was the one that was violated in such and such a way. So it is the most difficult thing for a woman. So counseling is a big, psychosocial support is a big issue that we are looking at the TRRC, that we are working with. We have to have, the women have to be counseled. A lot of counseling has to be done. This is not an easy thing to admit it, number one. Number two, to live, a lot of them are living with it, living every day with it. They've been living with it for the past 22 years. So these are things that they've been living with, and then now to come out and say it. So that's why some of these things will not bring out the face to the women that have been violated. It's up to them, it's their choice. But most of them will be in camera. It will not be public. Their names will not be published. Their faces, their identity will not be published, because this is the most difficult thing. So that is why, like Tuti said, we go into the communities. We have to talk to every group, and then also this work is not just like Mariama was saying. The TRRC doesn't have the funds like people think to do all of this work, so we have to have partnership. We are partnering with UNDP, with different organizations. So civil society organizations, those that have capacity in psychosocial support, those have capacity in community work, in working with women. So we'll work with different institutions to reach these women, and we'll get the support on counseling them, because this is not an easy thing. We have to, it says truth, reconciliation, and reparation. The truth has to come out, and we have to reconcile. As a Gambia, I think, reconcile with your own self first, and then as a Gambian, as a whole nation, in order for us to go forward.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much. Ms. Tuti, we were just talking about difficulties of women trying to come out with certain violations that they suffered. In terms of reaching out to women, for example, to engage them, it might be difficult in certain circumstances. There are many obstacles to women. For example, there would be some that maybe have suffered violations, but because of the struggle to uphold their family or to take care of their families, won't have the time to come to the TRRC or to engage in the process, or they may be worried about stigma also. So how do you, in your reconciliation approach, trying to get people to get on board with the reconciliation agenda, how do you reach such kind of people?
Yeah, so to reach them, because under the reconciliation aspect process, we have an outreach strategy too. So in our outreach strategies, we understand that women may be challenged to come out, maybe because due to for them protecting their privacy, or as Auntie Yada said, having to worry about stigma. We are going to ensure their privacy. We are going to make sure that some of the hearings, or some of even the women, for example, the women listening circles are pretty private ones. They may not have to come out in public, and if they want, we also trying to establish a platform where they can talk one-to-one with us, wherein they don't have to talk to anyone, and they can choose who they want to speak to and come and have a one-to-one with us. We're here to listen to their ideas. We're here to capture in whatever issues that may emerge. We understand that the issues are complex and they're dynamic. They may change from community to community, or from one individual to another individual. So in our strategy, we're factoring all of those things, and we're going to establish platforms or even a telephone hotline wherein they can call free of charge, and then we can even call them back. That is one aspect. What we're also going to do is also go to them. Because in this Never Again campaign, we're saying we're not leaving anyone behind. Everyone will be captured in, everyone will be considered. So we're going to have, some of them will, or most of them will have to go to them. For example, the market women, those who are at the market selling, you don't expect them to leave their rush hours or leave their working hours and come to where you're having your consultations or public forums. So with those ones, we'll be going to them. We'll be talking with the market organizations or the market associations in most of the markets to see how we can find a best, like an hour slot wherein they can come in, or we can go to them, talk to them, engage them, let them also come in with their ideas. With those that are in rural Gambia, we also, as I said earlier on, we understand that there are lumos. So we are also targeting to have about, at least every month, we will go to at least 4 lumos. That way we can capture the women there, talk to them. So those that are willing to come in, we welcome that. We will find a way to go to them. There are various platforms that we are trying to establish to advance reconciliation. So we will go to them. If that's not possible, they have our numbers. There are platforms wherein they can talk one-to-one.
And their privacy will, their privacy is something that we are very concerned about, and it is top in our
just recently when Esa was on the panel here, we talked about the issue of having the TRRC hearings recorded by one production crew, so as to ensure information management. And I believe this all goes towards protecting the identity and security of witnesses. I believe that would be important also, especially for women.
It's very important. We have to protect. We cannot allow the women that have been violated to be re-violated again. So at the TRRC, we are very, that's a top thing, that we are going to protect women. Women will be protected, their children will be protected, their family will be protected. But the Never Again campaign never will women be violated against.
Indeed.
And it can be very easy to happen, so but we'll make sure it never happens. Like I said, some of them are actually seen in the streets, probably even in their communities, those people that violated them, and they having to live with that. So you can imagine the pain that the women are going through, and we'll make sure that it ends there. And like I said, psychosocial support is a big thing to make sure that women are supported, counseled, because to carry something like that day in, day out, and the way our African society is very difficult to voice out some of these things, let alone saying it in public. That's why we will not, if it's possible, we will not do it in public. It'll be done in camera. And also when we go to the communities to talk to the women, if there's somebody that wants to talk to us privately, like she said, we will know how to meet with them without the community or the neighborhoods knowing, where we'll do it privately. But we are going to protect women, to make sure that women are protected in every way.
Aspect. Thank you. Mariama, we just, Madam Aribo here just mentioned the Never Again campaign again, and this is a particularly important aspect of the TRRC's work, which basically means trying to ensure that there is never a reoccurrence of these violations. In terms of the youth, I was lucky to join you in some of your outreach activities, and I see that the Never Again campaign is a very important part of the message that you are sending to the young people. Why is this message so important to give to the young people, this Never Again idea?
Yes, thank you, Imran. As I said earlier on, I mean, information is key, because we need to know and then get the information at a very tender age. And the reason why we embarked on this Never Again campaign, in fact, our first initial thought was to start it from the primary school, so that these young children will know. But then too, we also thought it wise again that maybe perhaps starting from the primary level, they might not able to get the actual understanding that we meant by the Never Again. So we deemed it necessary to start it within the junior school level, because most of them, to your surprise, I mean, when we were going to the various schools, some of them, when you ask them what happened during April 10 and 11, some of them couldn't tell you. So that is why it's important for them to know what has happened during the past 22 years, even if they are not affected now, but before they were affected either directly or indirectly. Because if your parent or one of your family members was a victim of April 10 and 11, perhaps you may not able to get that narrative from your family members, but having someone to testify will able to give you the opportunity and the platform for you to know what we meant by Never Again. I mean, because I myself never know what we meant by the April 10 and 11. But thank God that as part of our school outreach program that we have been doing, we've been going with a survivor of April 10 and 11, whom you know, he will also go with us to talk to these young children about what we meant by the Never Again, the April 10 and 11, and why it is important for him as a survivor or victim to come and testify. So after all, it was very, very important. And knowing, you know, before reacting to the law or trying to say this is my right, before you claim that you have a right, you need to read the law, you have to know it, and then through knowing it, then you can able to apply from whatever you have read, so that can be your guarantee or your visa in as much as to defend yourself in certain cases happen. So that is why it is important for youths and then children to know what we mean by Never Again. In a case too, it will be important for you to report any case as a young person that you see. Because in our school setting, we've been seeing various violence that are occurring in our schools and then in our community. And sometimes when you want to report such, they will be like, if you do so, you will try to tarnish the image of that particular perpetrator. And that is why they never again to come and said, we need to break that culture of silence. Because if we continue try to do this maslaha syndrome, at the end of the day, what it will lead to, I mean, you never know. So embarking on that will be important. And part of our plans too, it's not only engaging young people within the Greater Banjul and the provinces, but even in our part of strategy work 2019, we will be having training with some Gambian artists. Because they also need to know. Because for them, putting them on our Never Again campaign will be a great help, because they will be able to disseminate the information in all dimensions. So part of our training too, we want to involve them so that they can able to know part of their chain of communication in the music industry as well.
Indeed. So basically this Never Again campaign is important for the young people, because as she mentioned, it is critical that from a young age you understand your rights and your responsibilities as a citizen. It's the only way of ensuring constitutional democracy. It remains a constitutional democracy and does not turn into a dictatorship. So from what I understand, then it would be that young people need to understand this, learn the lessons first of all from the work of the commission in establishing the truth of what happened, and in that case be able to ensure that once these young people get into these positions of power and control in this country, they do not make the same mistakes that were done in the past. So this is the idea of our Never Again campaign. Yes, you were saying.
Yes, and then one of the main important points that we have been emphasizing is you tend to realize that when you talked about the percentage of the country, you constitute 65% of the population. And then let's say in 2019 or 2021, we are going to vote. And then who are the most influential people that will be voting our leaders into office is the young people. So if you as young people, you don't know your right and responsibility, how are you going to vote? Because the maximum age for a person to vote is 18 years. So you need to be oriented and you need to know what is the law says about, I mean, your right to vote and then to be voted for. Because if you're not, if you don't involve ourselves into decision making at a very tender age, as Chandra will always say at our unit, at the end of the day, if the president come one day and said a bag of rice is $5,000, we have no choice. We just have to, I mean, go and buy it. So that is why it is important for young people to able to involve themselves into politics in a very positive way, not in the negative aspect as well. Part of their responsibility.
Information is so important. And once we catch them as young people, they grow up and they know their rights, they know their responsibilities. You know, she keeps talking about responsibility. It's very important that they know it's their responsibility. Voting is your responsibility. Going to school is your responsibility. So once we have an educated population, this Never Again will stand. Once we are aware, our children are aware, our youths, we catch them whilst they are young. Because like she said, they are the ones that are going to be voting. Come 2021, a lot of these 65% of the population are going to get into voting age. So they have to know what the issues are. And we are not talking about running down the street, clapping, dancing. I mean, we hope that era has gone. That era has gone. Maybe era was the correct thing. So I mean, women are not going to be clapping. We are going to make sure women have positions. They vie for positions and are voted for in positions. So we're not just going to sit back and say, this is it, Lugori Wahrek. I'm sorry, I'm not being gender biased, I'm not, but we want to make sure women they are decision makers. And let us also have power decision making positions. That we, you know, she talked about the presidency, the vice presidency. let women get, we are decision makers, let us encourage women, let us encourage the youth. If these young people, these young girls are taught how to go about going to school, they first of all, they get their education, because education is so important. They get the information, then it's not running down the street and clapping and dancing, but actually proper campaign.
Indeed.
Then this never again is going to take root. And when we are aware, it's only when we are aware that this thing will never ever happen again.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Again, I'll come back to you. Liñ doon waxtaanee bu yàggul nii rek mooy jigéen ñi léegi-léeg human rights violation wala aaxi doomi aadama yiñ nangu woon si réew mi am na yu leen dal yoo xam ne jigéen ñi rek la dee mën a dal wala nim leen dee dalee dafa ute ak ni moo dalee ñeneen ñi daal. Léegi loolu léegi-léeg daf dee nekk mbir moo xam ne xëj na duy neex pour boromam kim dal génn si nettali ko wala génn si pour wax ko si commission bi wala yooyu. Yéen seen unit naka ngeen gisee loolu yéen mi amee wàllu jigéen yi naka ngeen ko waxtaane o naka ngeen di dimbalee ñoo xam ne daj nañ façon yi pour ñu mun a ñëw wax dëgg parce que tamit suñ bañee yi xewaat fi foog ñu xam la ne xewoon jànga si ñu door a mun a xam naka la ñoo def ba fexe ba loolu bu
waaw kañ dëgg la de Imran ndax pour tere li fi xewoon xewati foog ñu wax dëgg nag yenn yi dañ metti yenn yi dafa méttee wax li dal yenn jigéen ñi daanu seen kaw ak yeneen ak yeneen yi leen def lu métti la te ñun suñ dëkk bi dafa xat nga xam ne ñeena jigéen ñi liñ leen def ñu ngi dox si mbedda bi ñu ngi lee gis ñi leen tooñ te loolu lu métti la ñu ngi leen a xool nii xëj na sax xam nañ leen ñu ngi leen a xool ñu ngi leen a gis so lu métti loolu noonu waaye tam suñ dëkk bu xat bi la tam su dee jigéen ji dañ daanu si kawam mu génn si mu ñëw di wax dangaa gis dañ ko xaw ma naka lañ dee waxee victimisati nga xam ne nit ñi dañoo xool di ko joxoñ kii lii moo ko daloon kii xam nga suñ si boolewutee ndeysaan nga gis tam xëj na tam mu naxari pour mu mun a am yeneen si right sam yi so nga loolu nag lu métti la waaye war nañoo xam tam li xewoon si dëkk bi so su dee jigéen ji pare naa wax mun nañoo wax ak moom nga xam ne kenn du xaamee kanamam bi kenn du taxaw si commission bi nit ñi gis ko ñu xaamee ko loolu am na mun nañoo def loolu mun nañoo dem si fi mu dëkka ñu wax ak moom tam te du pour mel ni dangaa gis waa TRRC yee ñëw di wax ak moom waa dëkkandooram yi duñ xam loolu tam so waaye mun dañoo ut daal yoon ni ñoo wone génnee li xew ndax nit ñi xam ko ndax ñu jànga xale yi tam dañ war a xam li xew te dama doon wax ne jigéen dañoo seet jigéen naka la ñoo dimbalee jigéen ñu ni tam ñuy taxaw ñu ni tam ñuy am place yi ndax soo xamee ñu ne naka la ñun jigéen ñun rek a mun a wax li ñu métti ñun rek a ko mun a wax so suñ génnee suñu joxee place dinañ gestu suñoo gestu dinañ gestu yeneen jigéen ñi ndax ñu xam ne lii du xewati lii du dalati beneen jigéen
loolu dëgg la daanaka suñu waxtu bi li ci des bareetul ñu tàggatoo mbokk yi rek waaye ma mujjee si tuuti ñu ngi waxtaan fii léegi-léeg ni mu dee jafe pour yéen ay war a dal yéen a jigéen ñi ñu war a mun a génn si ñëw pour nettali ko si kanami commission bi wala pour nettali ko si kanami réew mi yëpp ñu dégg ko so madame Eribo léegi wax na fi ne am na ay pexe yi commission bi di taxawal pour sutura ñoo xam ne bugga na ñëw génn si wax dëgg bi waaye tamit dinañ ko wax ñëpp jànga si waaye fekka ñoom si seen boppa feeñu si feeñ boo xam ne dina tas fu ñoo romba ñu leen di joxoñ wala nit yi di leen jàppa di ñaaw njorta si ñoom daal su ko defee ma bàyyi la wax bi rek nga xëj na gën a wax si loolu tuuti den ñu tàggatoog mbokk yi jërë leen jëf.
waaw baax na jërëjëf sutura comme nu ko anti yaari waxee li nga xam ne la dañ ko ñu ngi ko bàyyi xel torop si suñ liggéey bi parce que liggéey bi su amute sutura benn sax si suñ banxaas si liggéeykaay mooy suñ value yi mooy sutura bi parce que su sutura amutee xam ne ne bàyyi neen xel ne jigéen ñi duñ mën a génn si pour wax yeneen yu bari yuñ bugg a wax léegi sutura boobu nag ñu ngi koy liggéey neen si te si suñ nu ñoo liggéeyee taxawal neen bunta yi nga xam ne yow jigéen bi jarul sax xëy na nga jógee sa kër dineen mën a ñëw lijjanti la fi nga nekk waxtaane yow parce que den wax ne lii waruta fay xew léegi dineen bàyyi xel ne dineen bàyyi jël ay jéego yu bari pour sutura jigéen ñi pour ñu mun a wax lu ñoo wax boole leen si suñu liggéey bi parce que su leen si boolee ñoom ñoo gën a mun a wax naka leen bugg a ñu suturaal leen léegi ñun pare neen nag taxawal leen banxaas pour déglu leen waaye si balaa ñoo déglu sax seen lu ñu bugg a wax dinañ leen suturaal pare dinañ leen boole si suñu liggéey bi parce que dañ wax ne dañoo lu fi xewoon du fi xewaat waaw foon neen bokka dem si ñoom laaj leen seen xalaat ñu wax ñu liggéeyee ñoom lii bu mu fi xewaat dëkk bi ñu nekk benn ñu jaamoo suñ kilifa diine yi suñ kilifa aada yi am neen ay cosaan yi nga xam ne yàgg neen ko fee def ñu jël si yooyu noonu jànga si yooyu noonu boole ñëpp si liggéey bi daal bàyyun si kenn ñëppaay ñëw ñu wécci wante xalaat waxtaan ci suñ biir lu dee wax waxtaani biir néeg waxtaani état bi ñëpp ñu boole si ñëpp daal ñu ñoo wax lii bu mu fi xewaat na fi ñu liggéey Gambia mu dem si kanam njëriñ ñëpp
jërëjëf daanaka loolu rek lañ amoon si waxtu ñu ngi thanks mbokk yi seetaan di leen gërëm we hope to engage you more in these conversations about the TRRC and our work, and we hope that you will take up this opportunity to take ownership of the TRRC process as a national enterprise, and we can all work together to see the Gambia that we want to see for everyone to live in peace, progress and prosperity. Thank you very much to our viewers. Have a good night.